Greetings, everybody, and welcome to Conversations with Carp. I'm Steve Carpenter, Sports Information Director at Hutchinson Community College, and your host for this podcast. Believe it or not, this coming Monday, April 13th, will mark 1 month since our world, as we knew it, came to a grinding halt because of the coronavirus pandemic. A couple of weeks ago, we started Conversations with Carp in hopes of keeping Blue Dragon Nation in touch with our teams and our coaches, and I hope you are enjoying these podcasts as we bring them to you. Today, my Conversations with Carp interview is Robert Spies, the head coach of the Blue Dragon men's and women's track and field team. Robert, welcome and thanks for taking some time to spend with us.
Thanks for having me. Much appreciated.
It is a crazy time, and obviously the Blue Dragon track and field teams were in the transition from the indoor to the outdoor season. You had just gotten back from Lynchburg, Virginia, about a week before all this went down. So what was the experience in telling your team? First, it was the season was suspended and then ultimately canceled. So what was the experience like trying to tell your crew that all this was going down?
Well, I think that many of them kind of realized because, of what had happened with the NCAA that, this was a reality. It could happen. And so when we were talking about, suspending the season, in regards to a time frame, then that allowed them maybe to have some sort of another reality check, I guess, in reference to the final, outcome, which was, the season was going to be canceled completely. But it was difficult because of the way it all transpired, and stuff that, we were in the process, as a campus as well, trying to figure out, if we were going to go online and stuff. And so I had called a meeting on, I believe it was a Monday, and to let the kids, know that, we're going to have another one to try to figure out, the whole realm of things and stuff. And so the second meeting was the final say in regards to the cancellation of not just our season, but also as we know it on campus too, and go into an online format with everything to finish up their classes and stuff. So, and that was met with quite a bit of emotion. Our locker room. We had some kids that are sophomores and they're shocked. Because they were really wanting to have that lasting outdoor season and stuff to kind of position themselves for future recruitment and so on and so forth. So that was difficult. Our freshmen were also in that shock mode, even though they kind of had a little prep work prior to by looking at how the NCAA did their things. But in general sense, very difficult locker room setting. Just telling kids that, hey, this is it, and by the way, you guys are checking out of the dorms, which made it real hard for closure,
Right.
with our sophomores in general sense. So,
Well, with the NJCAA ruling that all spring sports athletes across the board will get this season back, they're not going to lose eligibility because of this. In a general sense, what does that mean for Blue Dragon track and field?
Well, I think that for us, we're going to continue on. We don't have sophomores that are going to come back to finish up that outdoor season. We do have two. Sheila too is an individual that came in December. When she came here, so she's going to go ahead and finish up her cross country season, and then we have to figure out from there if she's going to transfer on out. Next year after cross country, or she's going to hang out and do another semester here. So. Jared Scott's the other one. It just was a better fit personally for him to be here another year in reference to his eligibility and stuff. So, but for the rest of our sophomores, they're heading on and going to their next avenue of their education and stuff, and continuing their careers in regards to being student athletes and stuff. So. So for us, it's about recruiting now to fill in the sophomore voids and keeping in track with our returners and making sure everybody's doing the things they need to accomplish the whole part of being a student here at Hutch Community College.
Yeah. Robert, this is your first season with the Blue Dragon track and field program. Is this the craziest first season of your coaching career?
I've been coaching for quite some time, over 15 years, getting closer to 20, it seems like. But, Yeah, it was crazy. Just in general sense, you walk in and you're to host a national track and field championship in the outdoor season in May, and trying to get your bearings with you. First semester, the ins and the outs of a new job and all that good stuff, and then you put in a nice twist to the experience of trying to host a national track and field championships, and then in our backyard we got Kansas State hosting the Big 12s over there. So a lot of the help officials and some of those things were already nabbed up because of their meet that they had and stuff. So that was fun, trying to figure out the bits and the pieces to make sure we had a quality meet. And then of course the COVID-19 thing came in and kind of spoiled everything that worked for with our student athletes, but also with organizing and structuring the whole national track and field championship meet. So yeah, definitely crazy first season, first year, coaching after nearly 20 years of it. So yeah, crazy first year.
Well, there's so many processes that are being utilized now to communicate with not only your current group of kids, but recruiting. This is kind of unprecedented times. Nobody is out there to compete, to put together any kind of performance charts for you to look at. So in terms of communicating with your current group to making sure that their coursework continues to stay on track, how are you handling that? And then how are you handling the recruiting really based off of performance charts that might be a year old?
Right. Well, like I said, with our current student athletes, that are returners and doing the things that they need to, as well as, our others that, are moving on. I've been in touch with them, either through a simple phone call, making sure everything's okay, or text messaging back and forth, and making sure that, they're in touch with their professors, if they're having issues, and they're on top of their classwork, and doing the things that are necessary to make sure they're that student first and taking care of business in the classroom in a new normal type of situation. So most of them I think are doing fairly well. I spoke to a few of them that are struggling in a few classes, but we worked ways to try to figure out how to perform better in those classes and reach out to their professors a little bit more and try to make that continuity, that is needed to make that change, in their new normal, as I call it, structuring for doing assignments and turning in homework and all that good stuff. So, I haven't done too many video calls, and stuff with my current group. They don't seem to think they want to look at me. I don't know what the deal is with that, but we're definitely in communications, and stuff in regards, and those individuals that you worry about a little bit more as a coach. You reach out to them, a little bit more and stuff. But because as a coach, you know which athletes those are, and which ones need a little bit more student time. So. But and then in regards to recruiting, you'd ask how that's changed, and of course we've revamped what we do in regards to recruitment. We used to have kids on campus and stuff. That's not a possibility right now. So we're working different angles. We got a YouTube video that's out there for our campus that shows a nice tutorial view, and it also is gives a tour or a virtual tour of our campus. That's nice to have, and we just received that a while ago. And of course you can still walk around our campus if you want to do that. I've had a kid that I was doing a WhatsApp video call with today and stuff, and he asked me tons of questions. Of course, it was an hour-long type of conversation, him and his parents. So definitely a different way to do it, but we've been doing it this way for quite some time, because we've recruited international kids, and an international kid's not going to come all the way over here to visit, but you're going to do a video chat and maybe walk them around campus, through a video call or something. So and then we're continuing to try to reach out through text message, like you always do. Kids love text messaging versus a straight up phone call. You almost have to schedule phone calls these days because they don't answer, but they'll follow up with a text message almost immediately. So
indeed. Looking back to the indoor season, there were a couple names that really showed up a lot in the releases that I would send out. I think it was practically every indoor meet I would get a text from either you or Justin Riggs saying, "Hey, Andrew did this, Sylvester did this."
Right.
But Andrew Cabet, Sylvester Cabarar, I believe broke six records between them, and they're even doubling up on their own records. They did a lot, but there were several athletes this year that put together some very noteworthy performances. Let's talk about them a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. That mid distance side. There was a lot of good stuff. Christina Bruce, he had a lot of personal bests, and lifetime, achievements there. And Sheila too, continued to run strong for us. Taylor Mendendahl, she's just a freshman. She'll be coming back next year, and she's just learning how to throw the weight throw. And I think hammer is going to be really one of her better events and stuff. And she made some good bump there. And Jared Scott, of course, like I was saying, he's one of the best in the nation, and that's in a star-studded field, in the sprints and things. So Javon Jackson is a nice kid that we pulled in, and he done nice work for us as a freshman. He's part of the DMR that was there at nationals and stuff, and so we've got some good working pieces, and it comes down to kids wanting to get the work done, and making sure, you talk about a young kid, Wyatt Thiel's another one. He's actually, he was a senior in high school, and he graduated early, so we pulled him in second semester last year. And Coach Jones did really nice work with him, and he's a very coachable kid, and very young, underdeveloped, but he qualified for nationals in high jump, and so next year, we'll be putting some pieces together. This might actually be a blessing for him a little bit, because it'll give him more time, to develop, but get him in next year in the fall, and have more time with Coach Jones, and all of a sudden, be a little bit more consistent, in what he's doing as a high jumper for us. So.
Well, you mentioned Steve Jones, a longtime assistant with the Blue Dragon track and field program. Let's talk about your staff a little bit. A bit of an interesting scenario with you guys, with your wife, Irma, one of your assistants. So let's talk about your staff a little bit.
Sure. Coach Jones been around, for 30-plus years, and, very, very good at what he does. Very intelligent man, does real nice work with our student athletes, in the jumping events. And then, I'd have to say that his experience is invaluable. I love having him on staff, and, what he brings to our program, and, the student athletes respect him a great deal, as they should, And then Miss Coach Spies, she's the other side of the jumps. She does long jump, triple jump, and she fills in, on the sprints and stuff when I'm plugged up, doing throwing events or something. But she's got 20 years of experience, and she herself has created some phenomenal athletes, out of individuals that were developers. She's taken kids that were 41, 42, 43-foot triple jumpers, and made them 48, 50, 52-foot triple jumpers, and long jumpers the same, and have a girl that didn't even long jump, in high school, and then she ends up being an 18-foot long jumper. Talent goes, some to do that, but you have to be a technical coach to understand the bits and the pieces to get that done. And the jumping events, we're doing really, really good there. And then you got pole vault. I pulled in Coach Hop. He's an individual that was a national champion for me when I was coaching at McPherson College, and he's taken on responsibilities to not only help with pole vault, but since he's very experienced in our program, he helps in the weight room a great deal. In case, again, I'm running late, being from a throws practice or another practice, he can get in there and make sure they're doing the things. But he's also very good for our pole vault group of individuals. Is something that we're going to really develop here. But he's got more time. I was trying to double and triple practices and stuff, so I was trying to run pole vault practice early and then try to run over to the throws practice, and I wasn't able to give them quite the time that they needed without cutting away from one or the other. So I was either saying I give up some time for the throwers in order to do more pole vault stuff, or vice versa. So he's a great piece into the puzzle. He does very good work with our student athletes. Had a lot of time to make a lot of good technical changes, and of course in our seasons, done before we can even really get started. And then Coach Pets, love him to death. The kids love him. He's helping with that distance side with Coach Riggs, also distance. We've got that nice family connectivity, going across the board, with our coaches, and they fit that role really, really well. It's nice to know that my assistant coaches believe the same things that I do. That family is important, and we are collectively trying to develop that as a program, because in nearly 20 years of coaching, when you care more about the individual than what they are as just an athlete, you care about every facet of their life, they naturally become just better student athletes, better people, ready for what's next after Hutch CC. So,
well, really kind of to wrap things up, let's talk about your path to Hutchinson, both as an athlete and a coach.
Well, being an athlete, well, that's a very, very long time ago. It seems like, and I'm definitely not the same genetic makeup. It's in there, but definitely not on appearance anymore. But nonetheless, I myself was a very stubborn, hard-nosed kid. As a student athlete, I had very good grades. And it wasn't because I was super intelligent, it's because I worked at it, and to no surprise, that same work ethic that I had growing up, to be a good student, supplemented me quite well as an athlete too, and it's something that was just instilled in me as a kid and stuff. But I try to lead by example. I had that growing up, lead by example. Work hard, do the best you can at things, and that kind of transfers over into the way we coach and how we care about our student athletes and stuff. So I took on jobs that were in the coaching realm that allowed me to kind of step one foot in front of the next, and before you know it, almost 20 years later, here I am at Hutch Community College, and enjoying my time here. Most definitely, it's a good place to be. I'm very proud to be, Blue Dragon, and know that I'm able to provide a campus, that's very affordable, and one that takes care of our student athletes and has the same values that I have in regards to providing the best for our student athletes. So when this opportunity came open and available to us, Coach Becker had reached out to me, previous, coach here. Everybody I think knows, is probably listening to this cast and this interview and stuff, will know Coach Becker. But if not, he's a guy that's been, in track and field here at Hutch for 30 plus years too, kind of like Jonesy. And so they reached out to me, and then, I sat down with Mr. Gooch, our athletic director, and we kind of hashed out what it looked like, for me and my family to be here. And Miss Coach Spies and I came over, and before we even, really positioned ourselves to, apply for it, we walked around campus and really liked what we seen, and I walked through the buildings, made sure this is, an avenue that we wanted to explore, and we felt very comfortable with Hutchinson Community College and also the community. Of course, we have children of our own, so we wanted to make sure the community was set up well for our children too. So we were very comfortable and very excited, to be part of this. And I know that we're talking about our nationals and stuff that we were going to host this year, and we're looking at doing it again. I seem to think that we put in a bid for 2022, so just putting that out there for those people that like to help. Because you need an army to run this thing. So
Indeed you do. Indeed you do. Well, we appreciate you taking some time, and we, next year we hope it's a full season. We get to see what Blue Dragon track and field's all about. And again, we appreciate you taking some time to talk to us today, Robert.
Most definitely, I appreciate it. And to all those that are listening, the new normal is what we see, but we're going to get through it all together. It's just a matter of doing what we need to help and support each other. So,
again, thanks so much. That was Robert Spies, head track and field coach at Hutchinson Community College, and that'll wrap up another edition of Conversations with Carp. We'll talk to you again soon. So long, everybody.